Hello everyone. Today I am making another ENDMS training video for you all. I will be covering how to enter test and progress report data into ENDMS. First, I'm going to start with where you can find the JAG pre and post test in Dropbox. So all of you should receive an invite to our Dropbox when you are onboarded to JMG. And if you haven't, you should let either me or Beth know so that you can have access to all of the documents that are in here. When you log in, you'll see a screen that looks similar to this. You will select your respective folder, either multi-year and alternative or out of school, depending on which program you're in. So if you're in multi-year and alternative, you will select the JAG and pre and post test folder. There are some archived folders here, and those are just there for reference if you want to use those for various activities for your students. And then in the 2016-2017 folder, here are the tests along with the keys. The 81 simply means that there are 81 questions on the multi-year test. So if you're an out-of-school specialist, you'll come back to the out-of-school model folder, select out-of-school pre and post tests, 2016-2017, and here are the tests for you. The tests are pretty self-explanatory. They are testing the competencies that either the in-school or out-of-school competencies. So if you look at the first page of the test, you'll see that there are 20 modules for out-of-school, which is quite similar, or which align directly with the 20 out-of-school program modules as well. So there are 40 questions for out-of-school, and that means there's 2 questions per module. So this is a really good way for you to get an idea of which competencies your students might have a better understanding of, or which ones they might need some attention in. So while 2 questions per module is a little not necessarily a great way to get an assessment, it is still a good starting point for you. So once they've taken the test, you will enter that information into ENDMS. So you'll log into the system and you will go to enter at the top and tests. You'll select a roster. So in this case, we'll go back to our test roster and pick your roster. If you have multiple students on a roster, they will all populate here, so you can enter multiple test data at a time. However, for the sake of this and the test case, there is only my fake profile showing up here. So this is the competency test showing up here because that is the box that's selected. You can also enter in the pre and post test scores for reading, math, or language, TABE, or Wonderlic scores that your students take upon entering the program, and other which could apply to science and social studies and so on. For the competency pre and post test, the total is already entered for you. For out of school, it's 40. If this was a multi-year program, it would say 81. So you would enter their pre-test score. Upon entering the program, you do want to have them take that and simply save the change. You would want to give them the post-test when they are entering follow-up. So in out of school, that is when they achieve their GED or diploma. For multi-year, that's when they are, at the end of the year when they're leaving your classroom. So for reading, for these other tests, the total score is not, it's already there as 100. If you want to change that, so 100 might not necessarily be the total option, you can, 50, whatever it may be, and then you can again enter their scores here. So that's where all of those go. And then that will populate to the students testing tab underneath their gray drop-down profile here. So you'll see all their scores. If you are a multi-year specialist, you will need to enter progress report data twice a year. So I already did that in a previous video that had a few glitches, so there is some information here, but essentially this is very self-explanatory. The information that you're getting from the school is what you'll enter in here. The big important points that we find a lot of errors in the system from are noted up here. So the first point is that data entered should be cumulative. So this really applies to the end of year data. Your school might give you data by semester, but you need to maybe then do some math to determine what the cumulative data is. So for example, absences, if your student has 4 absences the first semester and then 2 absences the second, we should not see 2 absences for end of year data. There should be 6. So please make sure that you are entering cumulative data. Similarly with all of the rest of the information here, and then the GPA scale on a 4.0 scale. The second big point here is that suspensions and expulsions are counted in number of instances, not number of days. So if your student has an out-of-school suspension for 5 days, but they only were suspended 1 time, they would only have 1 out-of-school suspension. So that's a clarification there as well. You are going to have to enter something. So if they did not have an out-of-school suspension, you would, or in-school suspension, you would put 0. If they are not expelled, you would put 0. GPA, you'll have to put in the actual scale 2.0, not just 2, and so on. So for example, like, and it will automatically do that for you as I see here. So let's say I had 10 absences, I attempted 10 credits and it earned 8 of them. Okay, so here is what that data would look like. And again, then that data would show up if you look at the information here. So you can change the information here as well. So that is the information that we have for you in terms of entering progress report and testing data.